That is Thursday, June 25th, 2020. Just got off the dock in Pentwater. It's about 5:30. Just exiting Pentwater Lake, headed for Manitowoc. Not quite sunup. Long day ahead, unfavorable winds for at least the first half of the trip, so we're going to motor halfway across the lake at the very least. We're not having very good luck with winds on this trip, again. But we've got a haul out scheduled for 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, so it's not imperative that we get back, but we then have to wait until Monday to get hauled out. So we're just about 3 hours out of Pentwater on our way to Manitowoc. Wind's out of the west, and as usual, we're motoring into it. We sailed over to Pentwater from Sheboygan a couple, 3 days ago, based on a favorable wind forecast, not particularly strong, and in the face of some rain showers and predicted thunderstorms, none severe, otherwise we wouldn't have gone. But it was mainly the wind forecast that determined our destination. That combined with all the limitations surrounding the beer bug and high water levels and everything else, so it's kind of screwed things up this year. But of course the wind forecast was nothing like predicted. We ended up motoring all but about, what, the first hour?
Yeah.
We were able to hoist the sails right out of Sheboygan and had to pinch to the south, get around a bunch of fish traps out there, and just about the time we got around those, the wind died. I think we were seeing about 11 or 12 knots of apparent wind at that time. And that was it for the rest of the day. I think we got the light air sail up for a whopping 15 minutes or so before the wind died again. And even in the thunderstorm that went over us, we never saw anything more than maybe 10 or 11 knots of wind. But it was essentially dead calm all day, so I did a fair amount of bitching about that. So today, we knew we were rolling the dice getting back across the lake because you can't predict the wind that far out, and honestly they can't predict the wind, period. So but yeah, the three models I looked at today were essentially in agreement. Winds with a more or less westerly, if not northwesterly component, starting out early this morning. Virtually calm on the Michigan side. They were actually 7 or 8 knots pretty consistently closer to southwest. We're on the cusp of being able to sail. We'd have been pinching to stay on our bearing to Manitowoc, and probably would have had to veer a little off our course in order to keep the sails filled. But the forecast is for around midday for the winds to back to a more southerly direction and freshen a little bit to about 10 or 12 knots. So maybe by about mid-lake we'll be able to start sailing again and not have to motor all the way across the lake again.
Well, you got a sailboat.
Yeah, that's why we have a sailboat. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We're going to wear out an engine sailing on the Great Lakes. A couple of blowboats just sailed behind us a little while ago. They were sailing down the Michigan shore. They've got a good wind for that. They only had their head sails up. I don't know why they didn't have all their sail crowded on. I would have. They're probably just going from Ludington to Pentwater or something, and it wasn't worth messing with the main. They're just having a nice leisurely trip down there. This here is some nutritious stuff. Guaranteed to have at least 6 nuts and 6 pieces of dried fruit per bag. The rest is candy. Breakfast of champions. So I doubt it'll show up on this, but there's another toy balloon out there. Mylar balloon, party balloon, whatever you want to call it. How many of those have we seen? At least a dozen. They're everywhere out here. Leaving Sheboygan the other day, I can't believe how much debris there was in the water. I thought something sunk, but half of those were toy balloons, and God only knows what else. So I guess the high water levels have a lot of stuff, debris on shore floating now. And oddly enough, I don't know how many toy balloons I saw when I was flying airplanes. I'm not kidding, I saw more of those things than you can imagine. Pretty much all altitudes. You're cruising along and all of a sudden something goes zipping by the airplane and it was a balloon. I wonder how many of those get ingested every year by engines. Probably quite a few. Well, we've been out now for, is that right, 4 hours? Yeah, 4 hours out of Pentwater now. Got about 6 or 7 miles to the Wisconsin state line. Winds are still nailed out of the west. As we know, any forecast in our favor is wrong. Any forecast that is not in our favor, you can bank on it. It's ironclad. It's going to happen. Because it's the Truman Show. Kind of like that effing Maritime Museum in Pentwater. It was closed for cleaning or repairs or whatever the last time we were there. And they've since moved it. And they've got posters and signs and advertising all over the place for that Maritime Museum. Or Historical Museum. I don't know if it's a Maritime Museum. Historical Museum in Pentwater. And again, in Truman Show fashion, here they come. Close it. Yep, Maritime Museum in Ludington was closed both times. Yep. Didn't open until 2 days after we left. Yep. They closed 2 days before we got there the last time. They're coming. Close everything. Lock the doors, board up the windows. Man, do we know how to piss and moan or what? So, a little progress report. A gray ghost of a ship on the horizon over there that is the Badger. We just crossed Michigan-Wisconsin state line, just past the Welcome to Wisconsin sign. The winds had started to back a little bit, but unfortunately not enough for us to unfurl the sails and sail on a direct course to Manitowoc. And reminding us that we're never truly on vacation. We'd like to get to Manitowoc in time to attend a conference call dealing with some business back home. So the wind was supposed to back rather suddenly about midday, and it started backing a little sooner. I guess we'll see what happens. This is actually the second time we've been on this particular lake. About not quite 3 years ago, we sailed from Pentwater to Manitowoc, and we actually sailed. As I recall, we had to motor the first couple of hours, and that was a nice day of sailing after that.
I don't remember.
remember? I remember. I'll remember for you.
Thank you.
So, and this trip has been almost a repeat of that one. That one we sailed down to Port Washington. That's the only harbor we didn't call on that we did on this trip that we did the first time. And then we motored back up to Sheboygan for Sue's wedding, and then sailed across the lake to Ludington, and then motored down the shoreline to Pentwater, and then sailed back across the lake to Manitowoc. So mostly the same destinations. Haven't been to any of them again for 3 years, with the exception of Manitowoc, of course. Care to add anything, hon? This is your working vacation too, you know.
Well, that's true. I think I would say that 2 days in Pentwater and 2 days in Ludington is
A day too many.
a day too many.
Yeah, kind of run out of stuff to do, especially when museums and stuff aren't open.
Yeah.
Well, knock on wood. Finally got a little breeze out of a favorable direction. Let's hope this hangs in there. Spent the first half of the day today on the motor. Hopefully we can finish the rest of the trip under sail alone. We're motor sailing briefly and getting some pretty good speed out of her. We're finally able to kill the engine. So the breeze finally filled in. We're making some good time under sail. Kind of redeemed the last day out here, which was horrible. Just because there was no wind and we got rained on. I got soaked. We had a little shower go over us. I put on my rain jacket, but I didn't put my pants on because it was just a little shower and I didn't get wet. And then what I thought was another little shower came along and put my rain jacket on, and it rained and rained and rained and rained and rained. So everything under my rain jacket was dry, but I was soaked everywhere else. Anyway, I'm glad we get to finish this trip under sail. This is my happy face.
You can tell from that.
is the Badger heading out of Manitowoc right as we're headed into Manitowoc. Michelle's scampering all over the decks, getting dock lines and fenders ready. We're just going to make it in time for a conference call. So we have all but arrived and had a nice sail this afternoon. Thank goodness. So this is the Pentwater Channel. Very windy today. Can't walk out there because dumbasses like us would walk out there. Could have used a little of this wind yesterday, not all of it, but a little of it. So they have the no drowning flag up today. No drowning allowed today. There's Michi. Hey Michi. You can come out here today. They had this blocked off yesterday to keep idiots like us from coming out. We probably would have tried.
You would have.
I would have. So we're here at Snug Harbor Marina in Pentwater. They've actually made a lot of progress today. They're building up the walkway around here. That's where it used to be. Underwater. There's your grill. They've elevated the ground out here. Apparently they're seeding that for
Grass.
some new grass. I wonder who has this gorgeous boat.